The echo noise in the background, but it's a hot 42 degree day here in Melbourne today on the 24th of January. Now, a couple of people asked about being able to use the pedal to switch between channels like a low volume and a high volume, and there's a couple of ways we can do that. So if we have a look here, for example, if I select channel 2 and I assign the patching to the same as channel 1, obviously because the latency will be negligible between the two, if I put that volume up, that's going to be louder than this volume, and you could use mute and bring that on and in, and that will work obviously. And what we can then do with V3 is assign this mute to a mute group, and then the mute group can be triggered on the pedal, because in our settings page now we've got the ability to have the pedal function set up, turn on and off a mute group. So we can assign the mute to, let's say, mute 6 and the mute group to the pedal, and you're able to turn that channel on and off. Now this is okay. There's another excuse me, neat way of doing that, whereby again we need to use 2 channels, but it'll be a much neater way of doing so. First of all, I'm going to set up a view group so it makes sense to you. View group 1 will be channel 1 and 2, and sub 1 and 2. Perfect, very good. So I'm going to go here, and I'll go view groups 1, be much easier. What we're going to do now is we're going to assign this view group, these channels to a view group. Okay, where am I going here? There we go. Views, subgroups. View group channel 1 is 2, subgroup 2 is channel 2. So subgroup 1, channel 1, subgroup 2, channel 2. It's a little bit more complex, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So we've got that working, and we've got this working. Fantastic. Then I'm going to go into subgroup 2 edit page. I'm going to go to my compressor, and I'm going to tell him to duck from subgroup 1 entirely. And then I'm going to really process this down. So you can see when I'm talking, it's ducking this subgroup entirely, and you won't be able to hear it. And that way, that's kind of like muting, but in a very nice way. I'd also bring the attack and the release to 0 there, because we want it to really happen immediately. We go back to the page, and I've turned that on, and I'll put that louder. Now when I'm talking, okay, you won't be able to hear me very loudly at all. This is as loud as this fader goes, basically. Okay, as loud as that fader goes is what you can hear me. If I mute channel 1, now suddenly my volume will be a lot louder, because the compressor is not getting any ducking. And that way you can even set up 2 guitar sounds, and just with the foot pedal assigned to a mute group, you can turn one channel on or the other channel. One channel on or the other channel. So that's another neat way of doing it.